Okay, here we go again. Welcome, everyone. My name is Pamela Pacheco, aka Pam The Plug, and I am so excited, grateful, and honored and humbled to be here with you guys on this beautiful Monday evening. Happy June 30th. Hope everyone has had a phenomenal June. Let's get right into it. For those that do not know me, my name is, like I mentioned, Pamela Pacheco, aka Pam The Plug, and more than the person that connects you to everything world class when it has to do with business, lifestyle, mindset, people. It's the person that allows you to unplug and plug into your best and blessed life. And whether I am traveling, whether I am on stage, whether I am speaking on stages or speaking on TV, I am serving looks or serving my community. My brand always comes first. My brand is what has elevated always first. It's what grows first. And then the business, the lifestyle, the impact is all a byproduct of it. So I'm excited to talk to you guys a little bit about how I got here today. This TV personality that some of you may know from seeing me speak on TV in English or Spanish, or maybe you know me from building travel and lifestyle community, or maybe you know me because I've coached your business or your employees or your family, or maybe I helped you in one way, shape, or form. And sometimes people ask me, well, how did you just get here? How did this all come about? Well, come from very, very humble beginnings. Not to bore you guys, I am going to give you the shorter version of it. I was born in the Dominican Republic to parents that were, by definition, the definition of success. My mother, may God rest her soul, was a lawyer. My dad is still a doctor of finance. I grew up early childhood in New York City. Then, by way of sunny South Florida, is the person you see here today. I currently now reside in Tampa, Florida. But education was non-negotiable in my household, and having an MBA in international business and finance, people thought I was crazy when I got into entrepreneurship 12 years ago. And one of the things that has allowed me to not only succeed and thrive, but more than anything, position other people to do so as well, is understanding that your brand comes first in anything and everything that you're doing. So I'm going to share with you guys some slides, with you guys some information, and my only goal with you is to leave you better than how I found you guys today. A lot of people sometimes think, man, do I have to invest a ton of money into building my brand, investing in my brand? I do believe that you should invest in your I do believe that you should invest in your brand, absolutely. But I also believe that it is essential for you to know what that looks like for you. Everybody's level of investment is definitely different. And I'll tell you that I've invested so much in my brand, from masterminds to having brand coaches, the best of the best, because I understood if I already knew everything that I needed to know, I will be already where it is that I wanted to go. And I also understood that different mentors and different teachings all served me up to a certain point. But for me to get to the next level in my business, for me to get to the next level of my life, for me to make these dreams and these visions and all of these things come true, I had to focus on one thing first, and that has been my brand. So if you guys type in the chats for me, I know we have people tuning in on YouTube, we have people tuning in on Facebook, we have people tuning in on Zoom. So type in the L if you're watching the L, type an R if you're watching the replay, but type in also for me, what are your goals from this masterclass? Like, what is something that you're looking towards? What is something that you're looking for? Why did you even go into this? Why did you even go into, even seeing what this masterclass was about? Somebody said, I want to monetize my brand. Somebody says, I want to build my brand. Somebody says, I want to build my business, but I know how I show up matters. Absolutely. Somebody says, I want to make money. Absolutely. All of these things are very, 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 very valid. However, I do believe that I want you to, when you ask yourself, I want you to really do a check-in with yourself. Ask yourself, are you building a brand or are you becoming the brand? Because the reality is that your brand is a mirror of your beliefs. And if you don't feel worthy of actually leading a community, the truth of the matter is that you won't. And if you're scared of being seen, you will build something always that hides you. So this masterclass is not just, get me on here, and if you guys make sure you guys type a one, let me know that you guys could see and hear me. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So this masterclass is not the masterclass, isn't just about, logos and, oh my goodness, creating content. It's a mindset shift, because your mindset is where your mind sits. And for everything else to grow, you have to make the decision in our mind first. We have to make a decision up here. And I always tell people, if you've ever visited any of my masterminds, my mastermind and vibe community, or my peak performance club community, or if you've experienced any type of coaching or mentorship, or you're part of our breakfast club community every week, you hear me say all the time, your mindset is where your mind sits. And if something is not allowing you to grow mentally, spiritually, emotionally, financially, do not let it sit there. So when I tell you that it's more so, this masterclass is for a mindset shift, because it's a mindset shift added with brand strategy framework that actually leads to long-term legacy. So I want you to actually know that who you're dealing with today is not somebody just that you've seen on TV. It's not just somebody, like, for you to even get that on TV, that highest form of credibility. Obviously, you got to know what you're talking about. Obviously, it's beyond me building my brand on social media. I've monetized it, right? I've become an authority in my niche. I've become someone that people go to as a trusted resource when it comes to business development, helping businesses scale to billions of dollars. When it comes to entrepreneurship, being someone that myself have been in business for over a decade, have facilitated millions in funding, have helped thousands of employers give benefits and perks to their employees. Also, families create a legacy that outlives them, create passive income, travel the world. So how has all of this came about? And it's very, very simple, is because I'm very clear that you got to build the brand, then the business. And that is the sauce of monetizing your magic. So one of the things is that for certain, you're going to leave this masterclass with clarity, with strategy, and community building insights. So for those of you, again, that do not know, feel free to connect with me on social media, Pam The Plug. So let's talk about what we're talking about: building the brand before the business. So this entails for you to shift your mindset from building a business first to establishing an identity-led brand. The reality is that too many people are rushing to build offers. They're rushing to build logos or even websites. But here's what they're skipping. This is the number one question that I ask every client and every mentee. What do you want to be known for? Ask yourself what it is that I want to be known for. And here's a bonus question to add to that, right? And you have it at the bottom. It says question two. What is the experience that I want people to be? Because when you realize that your brand is not your logo, your brand is your trust, it's your connection, it's your reputation, it's your positioning. The reality is that people buy people. People are not buying your service or your product or your offering. They're buying you, your belief in that thing, your consistency in that service, your actual, your character that shows up to the things that it is that you're passionate about. So for example, if you think about, the more having being clear, absolutely, it is greater than any offers, because people are buying you. So when you ask yourself, what do you want people's experience to be? What it is do you want to be known for? I'm going to put it on there twice, because you got to understand that a business that is only selling products or services is not connecting with people. So if you think about some of the brands that we love, listen, whether you love it or not, just do it, okay? Go with me here. Yeah, pun intended, right? Nike doesn't sell shoes, they sell belief. Because again, a personal brand is not just about aesthetics, it's reputation, it's relevance. So if you realize that your brand is truly the bridge between your story and your strategy, you're gonna say, okay, well, if people are buying people before they buy from your website, what is it that they're buying into? They're buying into your values. They're buying into the things that matter. They're buying to what it is, your energy, your presence, your positioning. All of these things matter. So your brand is you realizing also is what is it that people say about you when you're not in the room, right? Jeff Bezos, one of my favorites, is he says your brand is what people say about you when you're not in the room. So ask yourself, what are people saying about me when I'm not in the room? Because again, your brand is you. Yes, it has to be, and we're going to get a little bit deeper into what I mean with this, but I want you to think about personal examples of identity first branding, right? Personality centric branding. And also think of it why it is that you relate to these brands. Is it because they have a pretty logo? Is it because it's aesthetically pleasing? Is it because they go viral? No, it's the content. It's what they're providing you. It's the value that they're adding. You've made a connection with that actual person. So how is it that we get there? How do you know that? Because if you know your brand is not for aesthetics, it's for authorities, because it's your energy, it's your presence, and it's your positioning. So it's important for us as we go into module 2 is to know that the brand is you. So when we think of identity led brands through personality, voice, and values, it's knowing that your brand identity is built. Yes, your visuals need to be aesthetically pleasing, right? And that is an entire, you'll get all of the breakdowns in that in the actual course. You can go to coolers.co and you can see why, some people like myself utilize blue. We utilize pink. We utilize for nurturing, for certainty, to care. You want to relate to nature, different things, right? So, but it's also knowing that your brand identity is actually built from your stories. You've probably heard me saying this often. One of the reasons that it is of absolute essence for us to not only normalize owning our story, but truthfully owning it unapologetically is because the moment that you own your story, you're giving permission somebody else to own theirs. But truthfully, it is because you're also giving yourself an opportunity to say, hey, well, this is me. And because this is me, this is what I value. This is my values. This is what my vision. And your brand identity is way more than just what people see. The aesthetics, it's the bonus on top, but it's built from who you are. It's built from what it is that you value. It's built from what it is that's important for you, and it's also built from the vision that it is that you have for yourself. So these are all important questions to ask you. So when you ask yourself, who are you? Right? Clarify these things. Take the time to write it down. Not only who are you, but when we say, what it is that you stand for, what transformation is it that you are providing? So when we talk about, don't compete, you can't compete where you don't compare, honey. You have to know that you are in a lane of your own. So when you talk about your brand identity is built from your story, your values, your vision, your voice, right? These are all your brand assets. But when you realize that you are in a category of your own, when you realize that forget about being in your own lane, you're in your own arena outside of the track where everybody else is running at. You operate from a place of certainty. You also move in a way that it's not mirroring anybody else's, because you own who it is that you are, what it is that you do, and where it is that you're going. So, how do you create category ownership? It's by certainty, it's by understanding that you are aligning with your truth. So, ask yourself this: define your brand in 3 words: unfiltered, empowering, spiritual, whatever that is, because this is what's going to anchor your energy. When you ask yourself things like, well, who am I? What is it that I stand for? What do I want people's experience to be? All of these things come in it. And it's also you understanding that you have to find your archetype. And I'm going to spend a little bit more time in this because when people often hear the word archetype, they're like, what exactly? Are we like building some architecture or something? Well, that is really so that you can know that there's archetypes in the characteristics of a person. So when we think about these are brand archetypes, we have the hero, that is the resilient and the bold person. We have the sage, that is the person that is wise and clear. And the essence of the sage is things like wisdom changes the world, right? Then we have your archetype of the rebel, that is disruptive and edgy. And the whole vibe is rules are just meant to be broken. Okay. I'd rather beg for forgiveness than ask for permission any day, all day. And we have the nurturer, aka the caregiver. And the nurturer is that safe and that loving person. So how do you break these things down? Well, the hero is, listen, I overcame to inspire others to rise. The hero is on a mission to empower, to motivate, to drive transformation through action. So the tone usually of the hero is confident, they're bold, they are results focused, and there's sometimes even that person that will give you a little bit of tough love. So you are a hero brand if this is true about you. Your story includes overcoming major obstacles. You motivate people to push limits. You say things like no excuses or if I did it, so can you. And you're the person that's solution and results oriented. I want you to think of some of your favorite brands right now, right? Type in the chat. What brands do you think resonate with the hero archetype? And just type it in for me. And I want to see what your examples are. As I give you my own, I talked about it a little bit earlier. Nike, right? Just do it. One of my favorites of all times, David Goggins, absolutely incredible. You have the Eric Thomas. You have Eric Thomas, AT, the hip hop preacher. Y'all know what I'm talking about? Okay. You have things, whether you love her or not, J-Lo, right? Her brand story is one of grind, is one of performance, is one of grit. You have people like Beyonce, right? Like you have so many people that I can go on and on and on, but how you actually use the hero archetype is you are sharing success frameworks, you're sharing challenges, you're sharing before and after stories. And here's the reality, the hero speaks to the inner champion. You are the person that's using bold. When I say your confident is your tone is bold and confident, is because you're using bold, confident, active language in your content. So you're talking about, listen, let's level up. You're saying things like break through limits. You're saying things, let's go crush it. And that's kind of where the hero, the essence, the brand essence of the hero lies. The sage, as I told you guys earlier, the essence, the brand essence of the sage is wisdom changes the world, right? You're here to educate, you're here to enlighten, you're here to help others find clarity. And when we talk about, yes, somebody said Steve Harvey. Absolutely. He is definitely a hero. Absolutely. Yes, yes, yes. I love that. Absolutely. So thank you, Madi, for sharing. So when you think of, the sage, it's you love teaching, you love coaching, you love guiding people to self-awareness. Your power is in your knowledge. Your power is in the frameworks that it is that you're teaching or your methods of going about, living life, the modalities. You're usually that go-to person as the trusted advisor or the person that's just providing clarity. So let me give you some of my favorite sages. Jay Shetty, right? The Deepak Chopra, right? One of my favorites. Brene Brown. You have people all the time that they're just sharing so much knowledge, so much power, right? I love people and I can put them in the sage like a John Maxwell. So there's so many people that you can use, but understand that how you use this archetype is that you're sharing thought leadership. Maybe it's long form content such as YouTube videos. Maybe you're sharing frameworks of coaching and teaching, and you're really just breaking down complex concepts in a clear and relatable way because you're the person using your platform to inspire those aha moments with it. So the rebel is that person, like I said, listen, rules are made to be broken. I'd rather beg for forgiveness all day long than ask for permission. I am the disruptor. I am the one here that's to challenge norms. You're going to liberate others. You're also a rebel if you're the person that's like, I'm standing against toxic systems. I'm standing against the status quo. You say things like, forget the rules. I'm going to do it my way. I'm going to unfollow the crowd. And usually, as the rebel, you attract some type of underdogs or outcasts or even rule breakers. Some of my favorite rebels, Rihanna, Cardi B, right? Gary V. You have brands like Glossier. You have brands in like Liquid Death. There's so many. And how you utilize the rebel brand is just being raw, real, authentic. You have punchy catch lines in your messaging, and you just start a conversation that usually is controversial or is just going against the grain. And you sometimes may utilize some contrast, like, this is what they teach, but here's what actually works, right? This is what works because this is what's been working for me. So you establish yourself as such. Last but certainly not least, it's the nurturer, aka the caregiver. So this is the archetype that is like, I love, I support, so you can rise. I'm here to serve. I'm here to heal. I'm here to support. I'm here to empower others with care. So usually that tonality is very safe, very warm, very loving, very empathetic. And you're a nurturer brand if you are heart led and deeply connected to your audience's healing. People trust you with their personal stories. You'll emphasize things like mental health, well-being, inner peace. So some of my favorite examples, Tabitha Brown. Tabitha is one of my favorites. You got people like Oprah. You got some of the apps that I love to utilize, like the Calm app, different things. And usually you utilize, you see these, not only these brands, right, but these archetypes utilizing things, or like speaking gently, or even saying things like, you're not alone, we're in this together, you're worthy. So they speak gently, and they also affirm greatness. They also affirm positivity over your life. And they're usually the community builders, right? We are the ones that are offering safety, we're offering support, and we're using personal and vulnerable stories to make sure that we are uplifting and encouraging and empowering those people. So as you are in this module right now, choose your archetype. Maybe you're the person that's like, well, Pam, I think I have a combination of one or two. That's okay. But choose your archetype and also list three brand words, because you also want to ask yourself, if you're ever thinking, well, what is it that, because I'm a combination. Well, ask yourself, what type of energy do I lead with naturally? Naturally. If I woke you up at 3 o'clock in the morning, what's that going to look like? And here's also a thing, you relate to real peoples and brands, and relating different brands and people to the archetypes will also allow you to identify which archetype is more in alignment with you. And if you are getting value from this, type of V in the chat. I love it. I love it. I love it. So moving on. Module number 3, visibility is your authority. Everybody type it in the chat. Say it with me at home. You can't buy what you can't see, right? Like, people, you cannot monetize. There's nobody's walking this green earth that's ever monetized a brand that has monetized a brand that people can't see, because you can't monetize what people don't see. So, yes, why am I got the authority to be able to speak to you, whether you read magazines or blogs or you're watching TV, you're going to see me. And the reality is that consistent visibility, ladies and gentlemen, it's a strategy. Obscurity is the number one reason most brands, they don't grow, because it's never ever about going viral, okay? It's about being consistently findable. Your audience will not trust you if they don't see you consistently. always remember that your presence builds positioning, and that positioning and that presence also builds proximity, and that proximity is what builds profits. The more visible you are, visibility equals profitability. That is just that, right? Visibility equals profitability. If I can summarize this module in any way, it's that. And I want you to also remember this, right? Visibility is not vanity, it's credibility. So you have to ask yourself, well, how can I consistently show up? And me consistently showing up, how is that going to lead to more opportunities? Well, it's very, very simple. One of the ways is you choosing where is your audience. So how do you use your how do you choose your platform, and how are you omnipresent, and how are you showing up about it every single time? Is you asking yourself questions like, okay, well, where does my audience hang out at? Where does my audience hang out? Are they on TikTok? Are they on Facebook? Are they on Instagram? Are they on YouTube? Are they on Threads? Are they on Snapchat? Okay, well, maybe they're here and they're here. Well, you can build one or the other. But here's what people do when sometimes if they're very brand new into content creation, into monetizing your brand, here's what they do. They try to build all of them all at once. And yes, you can repurpose your content. But the truth of the matter is, if you can't be consistent with one, it's going to be very difficult for you to be consistent with two, with three, with four. So understand that you are positioning yourself for either success, or you're positioning yourself for failure by the load that it is that you take on. So how can you be omnipresent in your niche? Whether it's a podcast, whether it's a reel, whether it's an Instagram, whether it's Instagram lives, whether it's guest speaking, whether it's hosting, whether it's creating content, you ask yourself, how can I show up? How can I show up, but also be loud about the value that I'm bringing? And here's the reality. Even if you're still refining everything that I'm talking about, you're still adding value. You're still valuable. You're still worthy. So making sure that you always remind yourself of what exactly that looks like for you. So as we're moving on, content and magnetic messaging. So you got to remember this. Content is your currency. You got to build content that crafts, that you have to not only build content that crafts trust, but it's crafting content, honestly, that's building trust, but is also driving sales, that's driving profitability. So how do you do that? There are so many different ways. I can spend literally hours just talking about this in itself, but we have the longer version of that in the entire course. So again, I'm just giving you highlights, but again, I want you to go do this exercise. So because we talked about from the beginning, your brand is you, right? When first things first, ask yourself, what do I want to be known for? And what do I want people's experience to be? And when you also ask yourself what it is that I want to be known for, don't only ask yourself what it is that I want to be known for while I'm alive. What do you want to be known for when you're no longer here? What do you want that legacy to be like? Because that is the foundation upon what it is that you build your brand. So if you're already telling yourself, well, I want to be known for this and I want people's experience to be that, then now I need you to go through your social media, and maybe let's start with your Instagram. And if all of you that are watching this, I am going to do complimentary brand strategies. So it can be a revamp for your social media. It can be a complimentary coaching call, brand strategy, business coaching, whatever it is that you need. But again, content is currency. So when you're crafting content, you have to be building trust and you have to be driving sales, service, performance. So here's another question to ask yourself after what it is that I want to be known for, what I want people's experience to be. What belief must my audience what must be the shift in my audience's belief before they buy from me. So let's talk a little bit more about this, because when we talk about your content that connects, you don't need more content. You need more connection. Content does one or three things, or a combination of any of the three. Are you educating? Are you empowering? Are you entertaining? So if I'm educating, that means that I'm teaching somebody something. I am walking them through, I'm the person giving them how to's. I am leaving them better. When they come to my page, they know they're going to leave educated, they're going to leave better, they're going to leave more knowledgeable. And even if they had knowledge on something, it's going to be a different level of depth. They're going to know something that they did not know because I am educating them. That is what I'm here to do. Empowering means that I am inspiring you through my actions. I am inspiring you through my lifestyle. I am inspiring you through my mindset. I'm inspiring you through my story. I am taking you through the journey, right? The underdog, the before, the afters. And entertaining, it's exactly that. You're entertaining. You are making people laugh. You want to bring humor to maybe situations that are not so humorous. And I love how many people use entertainment to basically, teach. And there's people that use entertainment to empower and encourage people. So asking yourself again, what content am I doing that I am connecting? Do people come to my page and are they getting educated? Are they getting empowered? Are they getting entertained by what it is that I am posting? So the moment that you know what that is, because you are driving content, creating content that builds trust and drives sales and drives performance and builds community, it's also asking yourself this, okay, well, what does my foundational content look like? Your why, your stories, what your values are. What does your relational content look like? Your relational content is the vulnerability, it's the lifestyle, it is the behind the scenes, it's the culture, it's those type of things. And then when you ask yourself, okay, well, which is my content that's actually going to convert? Testimonials, your call to actions, right? Your product breakdowns, if you're including this is what the benefits are, these are the features, these are the ingredients, you're breaking down things so you understand that foundational content. It's also going to build trust, it's also going to let people who you know who you are. The relational content, it's not only going to build trust, but the behind the scenes is like you're taking people to a deeper dimension. You're taking people to a different aspect. So if you're looking at, okay, well, what's the relational content? If let's say you're using the Instagram platform, that's going to be your stories. Your conversion content is going to be your IG lives. It's going to be your posts, your foundational content also. So these are things that can be a combination of. So when you're asking yourself, okay, Pam, well, what does this look like for me? And before we move on to this next one, I want you to have messaging. I'm going to give you a messaging map template. Okay. So in this messaging map, this is what you're going to write down at this moment. I help who? So you're going to, I help blank go from struggle to result using method blank. So I help, for example, right? I help women go from being time broke and unfulfilled to monetizing their brand and business, utilizing social media and tools for transformation. So again, I help who go from struggle to result utilizing this method. And the best way for you to even do a lot of these things, right, is using examples like before and after. And take the time to actually write this down. Take the time. Maybe you want to type it in the chat, right? Feel free to do all of that stuff as well. But it's important that you are positioning yourself, because you need to, people, yes, you can't buy what you can't see. Absolutely, Jay. Right? But also it's like when people think of X service that you provide, are they thinking of you? When people think about X product that you provide, that they need, are they thinking of you? And how do they think of you is by what it is of how you are showing up, of the value that you're adding. Are you building yourself as that reputable source, as that credible source that they know is their go-to? So, moving along, social media strategy and monetization. Now, the reality is that it is so important. I could give you these tools all day long. But if you're not implementing a sustainable strategy for content and income, it means nothing. You heard me talk about earlier, like you have to understand that you got to post with the purpose. So here's three ways that I do this. Number one, batch create. Maybe you're like, Pam, what does batch create? I have no idea. Like, are we talking about like a baker batch here? Like, what are you talking about? Batch of cookies? No. Maybe batch of cookies when you're creating, if that's your thing, cool. But when I talk about batch create, I'm talking about you're setting a time up. Maybe this is a down day for you. So typically, my batch create days are Wednesdays. Okay, Wednesdays and Sundays. So I have designed my schedule for those to be typically days that I can take a little bit of load off. I like to have a day in the middle of the week as well as just my Sabbath, right? So these are days that I batch create. So when you batch create, that means that you blocked a certain amount of time, whether that is an hour, that is 2 hours, whatever amount, whatever floats your boat, that is cool. But when you're batch creating, you are scheduling a time and all you're doing is creating a bunch of videos. All you're doing is creating a bunch of content. It can be carousels, which are pictures, right? Like a PowerPoint presentation where you're adding value. It can be you're putting posts. Now you have the feature where you can create it right on these apps and you can schedule it for later. So the point of having batch creating is because sometimes you'll have creator's block. Sometimes life will just happen. And it's so funny because sometimes people will be like, "Oh my goodness, I thought you were taking this day off from social media." I said, "Yeah, I am. I'm not on social media, but my stuff still posts because I'm here to inspire and educate people, and this is what I'm doing." So a lot of times people think I'm posting my stuff. It's not me, it's not my assistant, it's my virtual assistant, right? It's the people that I have working for me. It's called automation, and we'll talk a little bit more in depth about that. But when you're talking about your monetization strategy, batch create. And here's the reality, structure saves energy. So pick the days that best work for you. Clarity converts. Confused people, they don't buy. Just like if people don't see you, they can't buy. If people are confused, they can't buy either. So here is my 1 hour a day method that I utilize. I use 15 minutes for planning. And if you're taking notes, right? Because note takers are history makers. 15 minutes for planning, 10 minutes to engage. So 15 minutes, that means that I'm planning my content out, right? 10 minutes, how am I engaging? I am messaging people. I am responding to comments. Here is a bonus. Do not respond to every comment at the same time, because what you're telling the algorithm, whether it's Facebook, whether it's Instagram, whether it's TikTok, whether it's YouTube, when you do that, is that people are still viewing your content. So if you're telling people that, you're telling the algorithm like people are still engaging in your content, you do that by spacing out the time in which you respond to the messages, to the comments. But spend 10 minutes of just engaging. Here's another 10 minutes that you can invest in create content. So maybe you already batch created it, right? And maybe you're just creating something quick. Maybe it is a quick post, what comes naturally to you. That's what you should be posting, whether that is a blog, whether you're writing something, whether you are the person that's good at pictures, whether you're the person that's good at voice things, whether you're the person that is good at videos, whatever it is, just create it. Take 10 minutes to create something. Take another 10 minutes to schedule it out. I love scheduling it. So maybe you're like, okay, well, on Mondays, I'm going to go live. On Tuesday, I'm going to do Travel Tuesday. I'm going to do a try-on haul. On Wednesdays, I'm going to do this. On Thursday, I'm going to do Throwback Thursday. On Friday, I'm going to do Freedom Friday. So you can pick themes and you can schedule it out to what best fits you to what it's most conducive to not only your lifestyle, but the vision for your brands and your business. And here is the last 15 minutes of my 1 hour a day method. Utilize 15 minutes to just reflect. Utilize 15 minutes to just test some things out. So, yes, you're spending 15 minutes planning it out. You're spending 10 minutes engaging, right? You're spending another 10 minutes creating. You're spending another 10 minutes scheduling. And then you're spending 15 minutes just reflecting and testing out the content. Now, let's talk about monetization models because people are like, what, girl? Like, show me the money, right? Type it. I know everybody want to talk about how do I make money? 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 I know the number one demand in the world is the demand to make more money. How do we do that? So if you want to make monetization models that are a little easier, right? You got some digital service, you got some digital service streams. So what does that mean? That means your templates, that means your ebooks, that means your mini courses, that means blogs, that means your paid newsletters, Canva templates, so many different things. So I have Canva templates that I have for sale for people. I have mini courses that I have for sale. I have ebooks that I have for sale for people. So these are ways that I'm able to monetize with digital services. Now, I'm also able to help people create their ebooks. I'm helping somebody create a digital course. I just help a restaurateur, which is a restaurant entrepreneur of over 20 years, build a digital course, right? So it's not only the slides, it's the visual assets, it's the videos, it's the recording, but that now becomes a digital service that he is offering to people that want to start a restaurant. So there's digital service streams that you can utilize. Affiliate marketing. So I've been in affiliate marketing for over a dozen years. So what are some ways that you can market affiliate marketing? So beauty, lifestyle, travel, right? You utilize different links, like whether it's Amazon, whether it's LTK, whether it's Kajabi, whether it's school. There's so many different apps that you can utilize for affiliate marketing. It is a very, 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 very big thing. And I'm always looking for more affiliate marketers. So if you ever want to be have an additional stream of income in that, let me know. But yes, different ones like Fashion Nova affiliate, absolutely. Fitness clothing. There's so many different things. Here's what I always tell people though. Be very, very, very careful when you're picking anything to monetize, because even UGCs, and if you don't know what UGC is, right, that's user generated content. I've charged somebody up to $1,000 for a 30-second video. Why? Because I not only created it, I gave them also usage of rights, which means that they can utilize that video for any marketing at any point forever, right? So there's so many different ways that you can monetize user generated content, but you also are able to not only get user generated content, UGCs collabs, but also collabs where other brands give you not only products, but give you money to collab with them to help promote or advertise their brand or their service. So I do a lot of collabs with people all day long because this is how I build community, because I believe that us that are winning is because we're collaborating. The people that are losing is because they're competing. So when you're talking about a co-branded campaign, I've done brand deals and brand partnerships from Amazon to Express to Nike to Adidas to Sephora to so many different things, and also just even partnering with other creators, with other influencers, with other coaches, with other community builders, doing things like podcast swaps, doing things like featuring products, creator bundles, all types of things, service based. Right? We have also service-based monetization, which is coaching, which is consulting, done for you content, all types of audits. You even have VIP days, right? That a lot of us as coaches, we charge people thousands of dollars just to come and spend a day with us. This is insane, but it happens. It's a part of monetization. So when you're thinking about, well, Pam, how do I know? There's so many ways for me to make money online. Well, the first thing is, again, people buy you. So how are you showing up? Because your brand matters. The brand always comes before the business. So let's talk about offering alignments. Not all money is good money, right? So people know I've turned down plenty of things that is just it doesn't work. And the reality is this. You got to design offers that match your brand's identity and the vision for your life, your North Star. If it's not in alignment with me and what I want to be known for or where it is that I want to go, it's just not if it's not a hell yes, it's a hell no. Just being real with you, right? So I understand that my brand strategy is who I am. My business strategy is what I offer. So when I'm thinking of designing things that are in alignment, first and foremost, there is never, ever, ever any room for random products. Absolutely not. Because I want to build offers that mirror my mission and the magic and the value, right? Your magic is your sauce, the value, what it is that you're known for. Your magic is the essence of who you are. You got to monetize in alignment with your assignment because again, not all money is good money. So when you think about, well, I want to do an offer that reflects my mission, right? So for what does that exactly look like for you? Well, if I am the hero, right? Offer types, brand energy, your hero, your sage, your rebel, your nurturer. Do not sell what drains you. So if I am the rebel, I am selling a disruptive strategy. If I am the sage, I am selling a curriculum or I'm selling frameworks. I'm selling some type of teachings. If I am the hero, I am selling not only coaching, but challenges, bold challenges, right? If I am the nurturer, I am selling community. I am selling group wellness because, again, you want to always design an offer that reflects your mission. So ask yourself, are my offers aligned with my voice? Or is it just what you see online? What is it exactly aligned with? And that is something to take into consideration of how it is that you are moving in every aspect when you're building your brand, when you're building your brand for your business. So let's talk about the CEO shift and what that looks like. So you gotta you gotta graduate from brand hustler to a leader. And the moment that happens is because you realize that you are the talent and you are the visionary. But it's understanding this. Your personal brand is your talent, is your gifts, right? However, your company brand is leadership. And leadership requires at every single moment structures, systems, and support. But leaders lead. See, here's something that I've learned that has been instrumental. When we are talking about it, I'm going to talk about this a little later as well, but you got to learn how to delegate. I was the person that wanted to do everything on myself, and I understood that I can't. You gotta delegate low level tasks. And sometimes it's not necessarily delegating low level tasks, but it's what drains you as well, right? And you're also building a business that grows without you burning out. Think about this. Am I building a team for retention and growth? Plan a 5-year vision of what that team looks like for retention and for growth. Write it out. Write out your wildest dreams of what exactly that looks like. And then is also you realizing this. There's an evolution in your mindset when you are the doer and you go from the doer to the delegator to the visionary. And it's understanding that as a team, it is going to move faster, it's going to grow bigger, and the impact is going to be more profound. So, speaking about team, moving right on in to our audience to tribe. So, what does that mean? Community. Community is the new currency. Community is the new currency. So, customers buy, tribes build. Building deeper loyalty and community culture is everything. So if customers buy and tribe build, why is that? Because the customers are just buyers, but the tribe, we are the believers. We are the pioneers. And a community means that you got a movement going on, but you got retention growing simultaneously with that. So when you know that community is the new currency, what does that mean? That your loyalty is greater than the reach. A lot of people, we got to do better, right? And this was one of the reasons that I did this today, because I've been asked over and over and over again. And the last time that I did this outside of our life mastery community, for the public, was 2 3 years ago. And so many things have changed, and so many things have evolved, and so many people just continuously see things growing, like my brand, and they see the impact growing in the lifestyle and the business and all of these things. And it's just like, how did this all come about? Well, we focused on the brand, and everything has been a byproduct of it. But what I've realized along the journey is that I cannot do any of this alone. I say it all the time. My team, our team, they make me look so good. Glory to God. Man, that community is everything. So when we talk about, what exactly does that look like? Man, the tribe, the community, everything that we're doing, when you talk about creating a movement, not just a moment, you realize that your community, you got to name it, you got to nurture it, you got to normalize it. So naming it, whether it's mastermind and vibe, whether it's peak performance, whether it's our life mastery, whether it's our breakfast club community, right? Ritualized interaction. We meet every week. Some of us meet every month. Some of us meet bi-weekly. Some of us meet quarterly, depending on what it is. But we always showcase our audience, and we always offer community because we offer a real closelessness. And these are things that you got to ask yourself, well, how am I going to deepen connection this week? Because community is what creates momentum when content gets quiet. Yes, I'm going to say that again. Community is what creates momentum when content gets quiet. The reality is that there is a human advantage, and I'm going to get into this next section momentarily here. But you have to learn how to distinguish your brand presence from automation. And one of the ways that you do that is by realizing that AI is a tool, and AI is a tool that's here to stay. And the people of those of us who realize that AI is a tool that you can leverage not only to build your brand and to build your business, but to enhance your lifestyle. I was talking on TV about this last year. There are so many positive things about what AI is doing in our world. AI is helping us. It's helping us with security. It's helping you stay healthier if you want. There's so many different apps. There's so many different ways to integrate it. And AI is a tool to be leveraged. Like anything else, it can and will never replace human interaction. You can never, ever, ever compare high tech with high touch. And that is why community is so important, because in the world where AI will replace the content that's generated, AI will replace the content that converts, AI will replace what goes viral, AI will replace humans with cartoons. AI can never ever replace community. However, that does not mean that you do not utilize it to your advantage, because that is the human advantage. People need real people, because people connect to our story. They don't connect to our perfection. However, let me talk to you about how to utilize AI to build and monetize your brand. because one of the things I love about AI that it is a creativity accelerator. It helps me, right? It's not a replacement, but you can utilize it for brainstorming. You can utilize it to brainstorm hooks. You can utilize it for titles, for different angles. You can utilize it to draft out lines, to repurposing your posts. Maybe you're posting something on Instagram and you want to repurpose it to TikTok. You can literally upload the entire video and say, hey, on this platform, my goal was to do this, but I want to repurpose this here because on this platform, I'm serving only women. Help me repurpose this. It will give you the entire thing. However, you got to be specific. You have to be specific. So when you talk about launch, you can launch anything and everything if you understand how to do this correctly. So let me give you some ideas, right? And these are some things that you may want to try. These are some brand clarity prompts. So use these to clarify your brand voice, your identity, and your positioning. Help me define a personal brand based on these traits, and you insert your three brand words, values, right? Whether they were empowering, unfiltered, community driven. Give me 10 brand statements that position me as a sage and a rebel in the industry of consulting. Based on my story, and you put in your brief summary of your story, help me craft a brand mission statement that connects emotionally, right? These are called brand clarity prompts. So feel free to screenshot these. You can also try things like, let me brainstorm 10 content ideas using the sage archetype, the hero archetype, the nurturer, the rebel, whichever one it is. You can also say, write a short form video script for a bold, empowering brand, right? Give me a weekly content calendar for Instagram that includes education, inspiration, and conversion. Remember, AI can give you ideas, but you got to give it soul. You got to give it your swag. You got to give it your sauce. You got to give it your authenticity because you are one of one. So even when you're utilizing AI as a tool for messaging and content prompts, these are some of my favorites. Use them to write content that connects and converts. Give me 5 Instagram captions using a hero, sage, nurturer tone, rebel tone that positions me as an expert in blank. Write a hook or caption for a reel that educates my audience on wellness and builds trust. Break down this long form post into a carousel with attention grabbing headlines. I'll even put hooks and then you just paste your text. There is so many things that it actually helps you build. Here are some monetization prompts. Can't I know my people want to make money. They're like, wait, go back, right? Somebody said this is so good. Yes, I love that last idea. Yes, yes, you're most welcome. So, based on my brand, describe the tone and audience, suggest 3 aligned digital products I could sell. Help me create a 3-tier offer suite for my brand: starter, mid, premium. Each tier should feel high value. Give me a monetization roadmap for 90 days using affiliate marketing, UGC, or digital offers. Maybe you want to input some of the UGC or affiliate marketing that you already utilize. Make it real to you. Again, you got to give it the sauce, you got to give it the soul. Here are some launch and visibility prompts. So these you use when you're ready to go live or you want to build a buzz. You can create a 5-day launch content plan for my blank course. Write an email sequence to convert warm leads into paying clients for my blank course. Give me 10 podcast episode ideas that build authority around my brand message, and you insert the theme or the message. So there's so many ways that you can do this to leverage it to help you. And here are some for automation and efficiency, right? Summarize this 30-minute video into 5 key points with hooks for reels. Repurpose this. What are 5 ways that I can use ChatGPT to serve 10 hours a week as a content creator or as a coach? There are so many ways that you can leverage all of this. This is the most important when it comes to legacy. The legacy is not coming through AI. The legacy is coming through community. We must be the culture that shifts the focus from short-term hype to long-term impact, longevity, sustainability, and legacy above all. Remember, you going viral is not what is valuable. Legacy is what people who rise with you, people who rise after you, people who continuously rise after you are no longer here. So when you want to build a brand that becomes a community-led movement, ask yourself, in 5 years, what will my brand be known for? And who will be representing it for me? I'm telling you this, if you've never ever taken a chance to not only create content, add value, utilize your digital blueprint for good, utilize your digital blueprint for legacy to build community, because your digital blueprint, it will outlive you. There's no ands, if, or buts about it. Our digital blueprints will outlive us. How is it that you will be remembered? Will you be remembered because you were legendary? See, here's what I understand. Brand equity in community brings collaborations, partnerships, growth, monetization, media, longevity, and above all, legacy. And that is why we do it all, for the impact, that the contribution to humanity that is going to outlive us. If this gave you clarity at all in any way, shape, or form, I promise you the course will give you the system. The course is not only going to give you the system, the course is going to give you a full 8-module course. Also, is going to give you coaching support one-on-one with me. It also is going to give you worksheets. It's going to give you templates. Those templates that I gave you for AI were awesome.